Hey, welcome back everyone. Welcome to my channel. I'm Rocky, and I'm going to be doing my January wrap-up / kind of February TBR. The first book I read was The Taken by Vicki Peterson. This is a new to me author, kind of recommended by one of my other favorite authors, Kim Harrison, and it was different. It's kind of about in our own time, but like this girl's rockabilly, I think they call them. And basically they're people that kind of like live in the past. Like, you know, when women dressed up in dresses and like had short hair and like kind of like the 50s era, I believe. And then the other guy's like an angel. And of course they get thrown together and have to solve some crap. It's kind of like an old detective kind of book. It was different, but it also had a paranormal aspect in it, of course. I do plan to continue on with the series or trilogy, but yeah. The next book I read was The Gunslinger by Stephen King. I have only read one other Stephen King book, but my boyfriend has read the first 3 books, and we plan to finish the series together. But this book, damn. It was not that good. I think I gave it 2 out of 5 stars. I did not like it all that much. It wasn't that interesting, but I've heard the series gets better as it progresses. So I do plan to continue on with this series since I do own all the books and whatnot. But yeah, for this first one, it wasn't all that cracked up to be. The next one, which I was dying for, is Firefight by Brandon Sanderson. And I love this book. It lived up to the first one. I mean, it was a bit slow in some parts, but it was still exciting overall. They went to a different city, so you got to kind of see like the differences between Chicago and this new city and how things are operated under a different epic. I loved this book. I can't wait for the 3rd one. I believe that's the final one. Along with this book, I also read the short story Mitosis by Brandon Sanderson, which is in between the first book and this one. It explains basically how they take down an epic after the first book, and I recommend if you do read the short story, read it in between the first book and this one, because this book kind of glosses over the short story. But if you don't read the short story, you won't understand really what they're talking about or what they're mentioning in this. But I read it after this book, so I mean, you can still read the book and understand, but like if you read the short story, it makes more sense to read it before this. The next book I read was a book that I got from NetGalley called Broken Skies by Theresa K, I think is what her name is. Sorry if I said it wrong. I absolutely adored this book, and so glad I got to read it before it came out. I do plan on buying it sometime shortly. It's basically about how aliens have come to the world, and they've been there for 10 years, and we ourselves, the human race, has died out because of a plague or whatnot. And so we're basically, humans basically live with aliens but apart in different cities, and it's how they basically try not to go to war but do in some aspects. But anyway, it's about a girl who has a brother. The brother gets taken to one of the alien cities. She befriends an alien, and it's about their adventure getting her brother back. Very good story. I really recommend it. I believe I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I was really surprised. I did enjoy Fifth Wave, which is also an alien kind of story, but I loved this one compared to that one. And I'm hoping the second book explains a lot more and is, you know, has more information, because it kind of left on a cliffhanger, so to speak. But yeah. The next one I read was The Burning Sky by Sherry Thomas. And I think I gave this 3 out of 5. I didn't like this all this much, only because the world building was crap in this book. If you read it just for the romance, very good book. Very cute, the characters are cute, whatever. If you read it for the magic or what's going on in the world, you're going to be disappointed, because you have no idea what's going on, and they don't really explain it very well. The next book I read was Ensnared by Dean Koontz, and this is the 7th and final book of the Odd Thomas series. And very good conclusion. It did conclude everything. It concluded how I thought it was going to, so it was an ending I expected. But I went out with a bang. It definitely was action-packed. Not as I don't know how to explain these, because like he's a very thoughtful main character, so it's about a lot of internal struggle, and he talks about a lot of internal stuff. So yeah, there's not a lot of talking. It's either action or an internal struggle kind of action where he's contemplating things. So I mean, it's hard to describe, kind of. It was a really good book. I think I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. And it also, I believe this is the first series that I kind of ended. Yeah. That I kind of ended this year. This year, like I mentioned in a previous video, is all about finishing up series. And sadly, a lot of my series are ending this year. And so I have to start new ones and finish them. But yeah, this is like the first one I finished this year. The next book I read was Dark Siren by Eden Ashley. It's the first book in the Dark Siren series. I think she said it's going to be a 4-book series. I originally got this book so that I could do a book tour on my blog for it. I ended up giving it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. It was very, very interesting. I won't go into too much. I'll leave a link below. I'll leave a link below for the review on my blog that explains what I had problems with and what I liked about the book as well. The next book I read was Ensnared by A.G. Howard. This is the 3rd and final book in the Splintered trilogy. And the 2nd series that I've finished this year. But I know a lot of people were not happy with this ending. I thought it was okay. I just did not like the epilogue because it felt like, and I think the author said that she cut out like a bunch of pages at the end of the book for size-wise, but it just kind of, like, the epilogue felt short. It should have explained a little bit more, maybe had a little bit more Morpheus in it. But otherwise it was pretty good. I think maybe the beginning was a little bit slow, and maybe they could have cut out words there instead of at the end where it was interesting and more intriguing than the beginning. But they do go back to Wonderland, and excitement ensues and fights happen and shit hits the fan. Read the series. It's a very good series. I think I gave this 4 out of 5. I do not like this cover because his lips are weird to me. They are just weird. I don't mind Jeb in the book, but I do not like this photo of him. His lips just seem weird to me. I don't like guys with curly hair either. I don't think, or at least I don't like this guy with curly hair. Some guys with curly hair is fine, but he does not look, I don't know. Anyway, moving on. The next book I read was Venom by Jennifer Estep. This is the third book in the series of 12 books that are out so far, and I plan on to finish them, or well, catch up in this series this year. So I'm either trying to read 1 or 2 of these books every month. This one, very interesting. Again, too much backstory that she puts in her each book, so it explains over and over again. And if I swear, if I hear one more thing about chicory coffee, about how the brother likes it so much and drinks it like 20 cups a day and doesn't have a caffeine overdose, I'm gonna scream. But other than that, the story is good. I don't really want to explain too much because it'll give away spoilers, because she meets someone from her family, and yeah. But I do like the love interest better than the old one in the first 2 books. He finally moved away, and now she's getting with this other guy who I think is better for her. Just works out better. I think I ended up giving that one a 3 out of 5 stars just because I got annoyed with all the past story that she has already mentioned in the other books. But it doesn't look like that's going to go away. So as long as I can just maybe skim over those parts, I think I'll be fine. The last book I read was 1,000 Pieces of You by Claudia Gray. It's the first book in the Firebird series, trilogy. I don't know what it is yet. Very good book. I loved this whole aspect of this book. Again, another book that surprised me. I wasn't sure if I was gonna exactly like the whole. It could have ended up horrible, but it ended up really good. What it's about is it's about the going basically to these alternate realities that our reality is surrounded around. And she visits each one of them. The world building, fantastic, by the way. 2 thumbs way up for the world building. Each place she visits, she describes it very well, except for the ones that are kind of like her own world, so nothing as much has changed. But the ones that are like severely different, she explains. One she even lives in for quite a while, so you even get to see it for a while and her live the day-to-day life. I really, really enjoyed this story. Can't wait for the second one, because it kind of left, of course, on a cliffhanger. And I've already seen, like, the second book's artwork, just as beautiful as the first one. I had that in ebook from a friend, or I borrowed it in ebook from a friend, and I might just have to go out and buy the whole series because it was wonderful and I really want to read it. And I even got my boyfriend he's gonna read it because he likes the aspect of them visiting multiverses. And because it's kind of a thing, like, we watch shows that deal with that, and yeah, it's very intriguing and interesting and something that maybe could happen in the future, never know. But yeah, that's all the books that I read in January. I'm not really gonna I'll show a few books that I have on my February TBR, but most of them are just books that I put together and might read February. It's not a for sure thing. I have a lot of books that I have to read for February, so yeah, and I've read already a couple of them, so I won't show those. But I do want to get to the second book of Iron Daughter by Kagawa. This is the second book in the Iron Face series. My group is reading this. I definitely want to get to it because I have the box set. I want to get through it this year as well so I can finish another series. currently, I've picked up Outlander again after 2 or 3 months of not picking it up. Not that it was bad or anything. It's just a big book and it was intimidating. But not this month. Because this month it's going to get read all the way. All the way. And so is this book. Dark Prince by Christine Behan. These 2 books I picked out of my TBR bag. And I chose them to read, and Dark Prince has been put on hold because I've technically read it before, but I wanted to reread it so I could start the series over again. But this one was just intimidating. Gotta get through it. I will eventually. I'm doing like 200 pages a week, and I'll finish it by the end of the month. But then after this month, I can start picking from that bag again in good faith so that I can keep going and reading books that I necessarily wouldn't pick up off of my TBR shelf, but I need to read. Because I won't get rid of them until I read them. And yeah. The other one that I am almost finished with right now is The Evolution of Mara Dyer, which I plan to finish this series by the end of this year. I'm almost done with it, basically. Very good. I really don't want to stop reading this because it's like a mystery. Like in the first book. At the end, yeah, there's a little bit of a cliffhanger, but for the most part, you know what's going down. But in this book, when it comes to it, shit hits the fan again, and you're like, wait, but I thought, what happened? What's going on? You know, yeah. Really good. And I just hope it keeps getting better. I've heard mixed reviews on the 3rd book on whether it has a good ending or not, but I'm trying to stay away from them. Just read the series and see for myself. The next book I have is Tangled Threads by Jennifer Estep. This is the 4th book. Have to read this to continue on with the series. But yeah. The next 2 books are rereads. It's Cry Wolf by Patricia Briggs and Kitty and the Midnight Hour by Carrie Vaughn. Again, these are 2 series I want to continue on with, but I kind of want to reread them, especially Cry Wolf, to remember the story. I haven't read Cry Wolf in like years, like since it first came out, and I didn't know she was continuing on with this series until recently, so I need to reread it and continue on there. I do want to get to In the Afterlight by Alexandra Bracken to finish this series. I have had this on my shelf since it came out, and I really need to get to it to finish it, to figure out what happens. Hopefully I can do that all in this month. I have a few other books that I need to read. Most are ebooks from NetGalley or book tours, and I just have to read those for review, or a book tour as well for review. But yeah, that's all my books kind of that I get to choose from this month. Some of them, if I don't get to, that's okay. Just shove it into next month and hopefully get to it. That's all I got for my January wrap-up / February TBR. I have a book haul coming soon, but I'm going on vacation, so I'm trying to hurry this video in. I'll get to that one when I get back, though. But I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.